Rush.
Rush. Rush.
Hey, I'm the Digital Man. This is my analog kid.
Hi.
Something he has been doing for quite some time now is listening to records, Rush and beyond, and ranking them, but also ranking the songs within each album. Well, he inspired me to do this with the Rush catalog as well, and that way we could truly compare step by step what we thought of each recording. So, if we start with the first album, Rush.
Rush. Rush.
So, I walked away thinking, good strong effort for a first album. Say what you will, Led Zeppelin comparisons and whatnot.
Yeah.
Solid recording.
I wasn't as big of a fan of Geddy Zeppelin as I was for some of the other things, but
That's great.
it had like a couple good songs on there.
Yeah, it's probably the album I listen to the least. I gave the overall recording a 6 out of 10.
Okay.
That was my ranking.
Yeah, I gave it a 5.
Okay.
I
So we were
wanted to
close.
I wanted to make this clear. My ranking system is very different than like the school's ranking system. A 5 is not bad. A 5 is just a middle of the road. It's okay.
Yeah.
Like it's not until you get into like a 3 and a 4 and stuff like that when it's actually like a 4 is below average, 3 or below is bad for me. So that's it's weirdly specific, but a 5 is not bad. It's just I would not really listen to this that often.
Even if you have a favorite song on a particular album, comparing it songwriting wise, that's a better song. But this is my favorite song, so you really have to kind of put some of your favorites away
Yes.
to truly score it as objectionably as you can. This was tough. Again, it's sort of like picking your favorite child or ordering your children and favorites. I thought Finding My Way was the best track on the album. That was my number 1 track on the album.
Okay, that was my number 2 track.
That was your 2 track. So what was your number 1?
Before and after.
Before and after. So
I love that breakdown. The
Yeah.
That's so good.
Yeah.
I really like how it's 2 songs in one. I love the build up to it. Even though it's a little boring, it's just still the most creative work on that album to me.
So I put Before and After at number 7. But
Are you sure?
I do, yeah. No, wait.
Yeah,
Sorry.
Bottom,
4.
idiot.
Number 4.
Yeah.
Number 4. My last song on the whole album was Here Again.
Yeah, we both agree.
Yeah, that's because I'm a huge Neil fan. I will give Rutsy some major props on this record. Need Some Love. Rutsy was killing it on that song. Before and After, I just put Rutsy with a bunch of exclamation points, which means like he was killing it and deserves some drumming love for that. Okay, Fly By Night.
I think this is probably the early 70s album that we are going to be the most split on.
It's probably...
Because you infamously don't really like Fly By Night.
That's true. That is true. And you tend to dig it. So that's cool. I gave it overall a 6 out of 10. So same as the first album. But
Yeah. I gave it an 8.
Boom.
I
Big time.
quite liked Fly By Night.
Yep.
Well, I gave it like a 6 or 7 when I first listened to it, but as time goes on, because your opinions change and you
Yes.
start liking more and more stuff.
Yep.
And since I got into Led Zeppelin a little bit after this, I'm like, okay, this is in that same style, but this is where they started sounding different.
I ranked Anthem as the best song on the album. Is that yours?
That is 5th.
Fifth
me.
for you.
I put By-Tor, Fly By Night, Making Memories, and Beneath, Between, and Behind above it in that order.
Really?
Yeah.
Mine were Anthem, Fly By Night, and BBB. Beneath, Between,
Yeah.
Before, Backyard,
Beer.
Billabong. Yeah, I wrote a note that said I was not excited to listen back through it. That probably makes me less of a Rush fan than many others, but I'm just being honest.
You put Best I Can above Making Memories.
Well, yeah, it was number 5, Best I Can. Number 6, Making Memories. In the End was number 7. 8, the last song for me, and worst is always in air quotes, Rivendell, the worst song on the album.
Yeah. Well, Best I Can is the air quotes worst song on the album. We already covered that. Making Memories is just great acoustic rock.
Yeah.
Like, I just love acoustic rock. I think that song is fantastic.
Well, that's fair. Well, I guess we'll have to have a fight by night. We come to Caress.
Which we also have some pretty split opinions on.
Probably going to have some Caress. So I scored Caress of Steel a 4 out of 10.
Yep.
Ouch.
I gave it a 7.
Ooh.
I thought it was a good album.
Right.
Like,
All right.
7's
We're
like a
starting to
good.
split. Like it's
Yeah.
a rift in the Rush fandom.
I just appreciated the weirdness of it.
Yeah.
That was my main thing. I liked that it was weird, and I liked that it had some unique, definitely sober songwriting on it, as I like to call it.
Sure. Totally straight during that whole thing.
I liked Fountain of Lamneth and The Necromancer. What can I say?
Yeah.
I think I'm Going Bald is funny.
Yes.
Bastille Day is the best song by far. It's the best song.
Yeah. Best song, Bastille Day, and we probably disagree on what the worst song is on the album.
Yeah.
Mine is Necromancer.
Yeah, and then mine is Lakeside Park.
Park.
It was the one I vibed with the least.
Yeah.
That's really the only. It's not that it's bad. It's just the one I like the least.
It is what it is. I mean, that album was always kind of droney to me. Extended blues jam stuff. Squealy Geddy. But, I love Geddy's voice because I always describe him as, controversial opinion alert, he doesn't have a great voice when you compare him to someone that has that smooth baritone or tenor voice or something.
Yeah, Chad Kroeger.
Yeah. Get out of my room. But, there are a lot of really great singers out there. But the thing about Geddy is he's a great singer because he knows how to sing. Even if his voice, what comes out, is not pleasing to everyone's ear, he knows how to work a microphone. He knows how to tell a story, most importantly. And it was never a voice that raked on my nerves.
Yeah.
I was totally fine with it because it fit that thing. I am a musician enough to say, okay, he's not the greatest singer in the world, but that doesn't mean he doesn't know how to sing. So there's a lot of topics. We'll get you a nap soon there, bud.
I would like to describe Geddy as a necessary singer.
Okay.
He's not objectively great.
Yeah.
But no one else can sing Rush.
Oh, yeah.
Like, I feel the same way with John Lennon or George Harrison. They don't have particularly great voices. They don't have that killerness that, like, Paul McCartney has to it.
That's right.
But no one else could really sing their songs and have that same emotion to it other than them.
Another controversial opinion, Neil is not the greatest drummer in the world.
No.
And I am a huge fan, and I have spent my entire drumming life trying to mimic what he played, and he influenced me above all others. But no one sounds like him. No one could have made this music but him, and I don't think anybody can replace him, nor should. There you go. So now 2112, which I can't find my paper for, but I figure I could probably remember roughly.
Cheat off of me.
Yeah, we'll cheat.
I gave it a 7.
7 out of 10.
I think you wrote it down on that.
Oh yeah, I gave it a 7.5. I edged up above yours.
I don't do 0.5s.
I know, but I had to because it's like I couldn't go low of a 7, but I couldn't quite hit it an 8 for some reason. I would probably say, you say Passage to Bangkok is the best song on the album.
It's just a jam. And I like Lessons a lot as well because I'm just a sucker for some good acoustic rock. Maybe I need to listen to the Eagles.
If I were to rank it today, I would probably say 2112. I'd have to default to the title track as the best one.
I would say that 2112 has a reverse Stairway to Heaven situation going on. Because Stairway to Heaven, the best part of the song is like the last 2 minutes. And 2112, the best part of the song is like the first 4.
True, yeah.
And then it just kind of trails off into, I don't really want to listen to many more of this. I would just like they had, like a Chronicles record or whatever?
Yeah.
Oh, I called it a record. But they had that thing where it's just like Temples of Syrinx on it, and that's what I have in my playlist because that's really what I want to listen to.
Well, I can understand that, and that might be a thing where, depending on your generation and what music was doing at the time, to me, that was my first introduction to that long-form prog. And as a young person, I could actually follow that story. It wasn't too weird. I can always jam to some 2112. As far as the worst song, I don't know. I do like Passage to Bangkok. I'm kind of a fan of the Exit Stage Left, Passage to Bangkok. So I might score that version higher. But maybe Passage would be lower. Maybe Something for Nothing would be a little bit lower than some of the others. But anyway, yeah, that's fair. A Farewell to Kings.
Yep. This one for me is a 9 out of 10.
Ooh.
It's an almost perfect record. I mean, you have Cygnus, Closer to the Heart, Cinderella Man, and Xanadu all being like basically perfect songs.
Yeah.
That's also my ranking of those songs.
Okay.
I feel like Cygnus, the first Cygnus, like the little 10-minute one, it might be the best long song that Rush has did. I don't know if it's tied with one later on, I think, but it's a great one.
Yeah.
And then you Closer to the Heart, there's a reason why it's popular. Yeah. I'm not one of those who, it's popular, I won't listen to it. There's a reason why. It's a good song.
It is. Yeah.
And then Cinderella Man's just got a great riff. And then Xanadu is Xanadu.
Yeah. My ranking was 8 out of 10. Although, if you were to ask me today, I might bump that up to an 8.5. My best song, Xanadu, always.
Every time I show this to like someone I know who listens to Rush, the first thing they say is Xanadu's too low.
Too low on your list.
Too low on the list, yeah. I don't know.
And then I said Cygnus X1. That's just an epic song. So I put that second, which I kind of remember that being tough. Xanadu and Cygnus were like neck and neck. So maybe it's a split winner there, but Madrigal would be the worst song on the album. That was just the one that fell to the last place. Okay, mine are Xanadu, Cygnus X1, Closer to the Heart, A Farewell to Kings, Cinderella Man, and Madrigal.
Okay.
All right, Farewell to Kings.
Yeah.
Anything else to say? What
Farewell,
else is there
Kings.
to say? Farewell. All right. Now, we got to get into...
Oh, 2112's on the back of that paper.
Sweet! Okay. 2112. I did rank 2112 as the top song.
Something for nothing, really.
And I actually put Lessons as the end song.
So I would promptly disagree, but okay.
Yeah.
At the bottom of the page, he wrote, I think they're getting there.
I'm sure they're glad to know this.
Yes.
That I have approved of where you're going, Rush.
Hemispheres.
Hemispheres.
This is where I wanted to make a distinction. I gave Hemispheres a 10. And a 10 out of 10 to me does not mean perfect. It just means that any problems that I have are like really small nitpicks. And overall, I just think there's not much wrong with it. Typically, the distinction between a 9 and a 10 is I would listen to a 10 again. It would be harder for me to listen to a 9 again.
Even though that's a high number.
Even though it's a high number, I would probably listen to a 10 before I listen to a 9. And a perfect album is just an 11. The Rush does not have a perfect album to me.
Okay.
But they got a lot of perfect songs.
Yeah. I think that's a fair distinction.
Hemispheres, La Vie is the best, Circumstances is the weakest.
Okay. We agree there.
We have the exact same track ranking.
Really? La Via, Cygnus, Trees, Circumstances.
Yep, exact same.
Okay. Yeah, I gave it a 9 out of 10, which is pretty high. I guess I couldn't quite say it's perfect, but it was pretty close. And perhaps it would have, I like Circumstances, but that's probably the one song that probably just bumped it down a little bit for me.
Permanent Waves, also a 10. And this is where I think that the long song that might be their best, I really, really love Natural Science.
Yes.
I love Natural Science. I think that might be their best long song, but Free Will was my favorite.
Okay, well, I gave Permanent Waves a 9 out of 10, once again. And perhaps the inclusion of 2 slower-ish songs might be one reason. Nothing against slow songs, but that's why it maybe isn't a 10 out of 10. But from Farewell to Kings, really, on, at least through Hold Your Fire-ish, those are probably, if you were to look at my listening history, if that were possible, those albums constantly get some kind of rotation. So all of this is great. So 9 out of 10 for Permanent Waves, Spirit of the Radio, even though you know me, I don't like picking the most popular song. I don't like picking the big hit as the best song because I'd rather dig deeper and go something more deep, but I have to give it to them. That is just an epic, right out of the gate awesomeness is my direct quote of that song. It just slams, or slaps, as the kids may say. Are you going to keep doing the podcast with me now?
No.
It bumps. And then I Said Different Strings was the war song on the album.
I really like Different Strings.
I do too.
I would put Different Strings above Jacob's Ladder and Entre Nous.
Okay. Mine is Spirit, Natural Science, Free Will, Jacob's Ladder, Entre Nous, Different Strings.
Mine is Free Will, Natural Science, Spirit, Different Strings, Jacob's Ladder, and Entre Nous.
Look at that. And we can still get along.
There you go.
How about that?
Moving pictures.
All right.
Tell me these pictures are moving?
They are.
Where are they moving to?
I don't know, but they're moving.
Where are they going?
Is this Rush's perfect album?
From an objective sense, yes. Personally, no.
This is a 10 out of a 10.
It's a 10 out of 10, yeah.
10 out of 10. This is a 10 out of a 10.
It's a 10 out of 10, yeah.
10 out of 10.
It's a 10.
This is a 10 out of a 10. I didn't even really need to listen to it to know that I was going to score it a 10 out of 10.
It's a 10 out of 10, yeah.
This is a 10 out of a 10. These are important enough albums. We need to list our songs.
Yeah.
So, best one for me, Limelight. Then YYZ. Then Tom Sawyer. Then Red Barchetta. Witch Hunt. Vital Signs. Camera Eye.
Okay, for me, it's Red Barchetta. I think that one, number one. I feel like that's a candidate for Rush's best song. YYZ is second on my list as well.
Okay.
Limelight's third. I mean, it's got a great solo section. It's got a great riff. I just think, he's got YYZ.
Yeah.
And I grew up on that one. Vital Signs is fourth. I really like Vital Signs.
Yeah.
Tom Sawyer's fifth. It's the last of, the perfect songs. They got a couple good ones, and that's Witch Hunt and The Camera Eye.
Limelight is the best song on the album. It is not my favorite song on the album. Vital Signs is my favorite moving picture song. Always has been since a child. I love that song, but it is second to last in my ranking because, again, I had to put my favorites aside and just objectively go by the rules of songwriting-ish and just try to think which songs are really hitting all the marks. And I could understand why Vital Signs may be boring to someone else. But it's my favorite, but pretty low on the list in order of ranking. So, interesting. Very interesting. And I love The Camera Eye. But it's just, compared to the other songs on the album, I had to put it in last place.
All right, Signals.
Siggy baby.
Siggy. 8 out of 10 from me.
See, you may not be too old to get grounded now. Because that's a 10 out of 10, my friend. This is a 10 out of a 10.
That's
10 out of
easy.
10. This is a 10 out of a 10.
Really?
Yeah, I gave it a solid 10 out of 10. Another one I didn't even have to listen to give it a 10 out of 10. But why did you get a 7 out of 10?
The Weapon and Countdown are very weak tracks to me.
You said The Weapon?
Yeah.
Okay, so I'll give you Countdown, but you're going to have to go back and listen to The Weapon again. I mean, that was the first time I heard drumming like that in my entire life.
Yeah. And then Chemistry and New World Man are good, but they don't really do it for me.
Okay.
In comparison to the rest of the album. All of it is in comparison to the rest of the album.
Yeah.
It's like, if they stand on their own, they're all good. But, in comparison to the rest of the album, I mean, you have Digital Man, Analog Kid. You have Subdivisions, and then Losing It in first place.
Yeah.
Any Rush song compared to Losing It loses points. Just any song.
As I've gotten older, for sure, and you start to lose some of that ability to play like you did when you were younger, that song means more and more to me than ever.
Losing It is Rush's best song. Just in every aspect, it is their best song. It's a masterpiece. It's got the best imagery in the lyrics. It's so, visual, and I love it. It's got my favorite Neil drum breakdown. There's so much emotion behind what he's playing.
Yeah.
The electric violin is fantastic.
Yeah.
There's actually no Geddy bass,
Yeah.
which is interesting.
Surprising.
And I don't know. I just think that song is absolutely perfect. And if there's one of their songs, if I had to pick one that's their like Bohemian Rhapsody, that's their best song they ever did, it is Losing It.
I'm not going to argue with you because maybe the case could be made that truly is. It is certainly, and not that this is the criteria, but I will cry every time I hear that song. I can feel it now. I'm not even listening to it, and I can already feel something welling up in there. And that's something if a song can, from a progressive rock, can give you chills and make you emotional. So it's as if you had an emotion detector, anytime you listen to Losing It, you would feel closer to the heart. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. You would really trying to think of a stupid joke. You would really after image then. It was.
That's right. I'd feel like a hero. Exactly. Yeah. But at this point, I'm nobody's hero. So.
Drive your red Barchetta off a cliff.
Yes.
All right. Do we do tracks?
Yeah, let's do tracks on this one.
All right. Losing It, Subs, Analog Kid, Digital Man, New World Man, Chemistry, The Weapon, and Countdown.
All right. I got Losing It, The Kid, Subs, The Weapon, New World Man, Digital Man, Chemistry, Countdown.
That's really self-deprecating. You put yourself really low on that
I
list.
know. I'm pretty low. So Chemistry, though, for a long time, had been my favorite song on the album. That was one of the first Rush songs I remember learning how to play on the drums.
We'll go ahead and get this out of the way. The next two are 10 out of 10s and are going to be at the top of probably both of our rankings.
Yes.
Hey, did you like that? I got more if you subscribe.